YouTube, yeah, so that's I might as well document it. This will be the, I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago I had the JPXB prototype electric guitar. Well, here's the not a prototype bass. It's got a wee bit, it's just a bit of a story to it. So this is the reason I'm building this is because there was an issue with the subcoat, what do you call it? Primer coat thing, which would mean basically this paint chips off. So Jen's done this pure amazing pattern on it. And this, I think this is a solid ash body. But it kind of picks off if you really scratch it with your nail. I don't want to scratch it just now, but I mean, I'm sure there was bits. If there was a bit that I could, it doesn't have a neck plate, I don't think. But there's concerns about it, so I think it's going to be getting. I'm going to be sanding this back and then repriming it for another paint job. So, I mean, these are one-offs. There's no repeat of this, this pattern. So I figured to get something out of it, I might as well build it up, and then at least Jen can get some photos of it and stuff. But I mean, look, it's got a cool. This one's got an added contour there. I don't know if you can see it. See there, it's got like a. I'm trying to use the screen thing. See, it's kind of triangular like that. Actually, that wee bit there kind of shows you the shape of it, which is quite cool. It's much bigger than the guitar as well. Yeah, and here's the neck. The neck, I'm pretty sure that's ebony. I think it's got an ebony fingerboard. This is all handmade by one guy as well. This is not looks like something been spilt on it. Yeah, so this is handmade from scratch. It's kind of mad. This is kind of, I suppose, a little bit like the corkers, that you get to that level where things are. It's no longer made by a really good company. It's made by one person, so it's got like one person's vision, and it's like, I don't know. Normally works out pretty well. So, as I said, I've played the prototype. I've not played a good one yet. So here's the tuners for it. Look like, I think it's all fancy stuff going on it. This is a pro level instrument. It's just one of those things you wonder how many. I don't know how many people are wanting these guitars as just art. So these are hip shots. So they're kind of in black. I wonder why there's foil around it. Okay, yep, so I'll be putting them on. Just put them out. So basically today's video is going to be a super exciting assembling a bass. I suppose technically you could argue, see if you bought like a kit of like an expensive kit, like a Warmoth one or something like that, it might go together as easy as this. The thing about this one is this isn't the same as buying a kit where you've got to do work yourself. This is just purely assembling, and also Dave, the Luther, has actually told me that he's never put pickups in it, but he said it was playing really well acoustically. Therefore, all I'm doing is putting it back together again rather than actually building it as such. 4 of them. That's handy. Oh, and there's, look at that. 4 screws on a bit of tape, because you only take 1 screw each. That's going to be pretty easy. And what's this last thing? That looks like a string treat. Yep, so we've got a black Fender style string treat. I suppose that's where we start. I suppose I'll look at the other stuff, but I'll do that. So here's the bridge. It's like a top loader. Not really sure. It looks like rollers, actually. Rollers in there as well. Yep. Quite nice. They're got strings. It's always rotor sound strings we've got here. The Ernie Ball bass strings, and there's they look like. It's good when it's been packed up. Oh, it does have a neck plate. There you go. So just strings. I'll have to find them later. So we'll get neck plate and bolts, and those will be. There you go. Neck plate and bolts. That was good. Like to have that neck attached. Electrics. We have 2 fancy caps. We have the fancy strap buttons. Not entirely unlike the Ibanez ones that aren't on my Roadster. That's the thing that's missing. I would like to get if anyone's got the proper ones for an Ibanez Roadster. 5 go. Stumac 500k. There you go. And black knobs. Yep. Fancy looking pots as well. Big shaft. What else is right here? I'm just looking here in case there's something I find that looks very much like an output jack socket. Yep, okay. So I don't think I'm actually going to have to go through anything. I wonder what those two screws are for. We will find them later. Right, okay, all there. And then, what it says Jen on it, what's that? That, I imagine that looks like screws for a rear cavity plate. For that, yep. Okay, okay. All there. And then pickups are Seymour Duncan's. Ones with big poles on them. I think if you're going to buy fancy pickups, I do quite like them because those are bigger poles than you normally get, and it just looks cool. They'll be good. They'll be great pickups as well. I don't know if it's just the actual Seymour Duncan box. I might tell you on it what they are. Excuse me. The baseline in pickups. So I don't know if this box is the £1/4 bass pickups are known for their sonically full voice and high output punch to give each stripe of the string. PJ players will now be able to outfit their bass with the rich tone of the £1/4 pickups with their PJ set. It's a direct replacement, requires no modifications. I know that the £1/4 Telecaster pickup is coil tappable. Oh, yeah, there's a thought there. Thinking about that, I might be getting a I can't remember how it's described. A budget prototype of one of these. Not a bass, it's a guitar. And so far, all I know is it's got an ash body, which is going to be, well, yes, it's like it will not be suitable for painting. I don't know how it will not be suitable for painting, so he's going to stain it satin black. And it was just like one of those things to see of all the colours, of all the guitars you can get, any colour, talk about the entire spectrum of colours, satin black's my least favourite. So I might have to, I don't want to paint it when I get it, but I think it might have to happen. It might stay satin black for a while. But I've asked what pickup configuration do you want? So I've gone for a Telecaster bridge and a humbucker in the neck, which should be interesting. I've never actually put these, never used these tuners before. But basically it's kind of exactly the same as your Gotoh type guitar tuners. You've got a screw in the back that you put on once you've tightened it up. And that's kind of it. I'm just putting them on finger tight just now. I don't think my socket set will actually go big enough for that. And I don't want to use pliers. I might have to get the socket set from the car. I don't like using pliers when it's okay sometimes, but especially see on black stuff, tendency to chip it. I don't want to chip it, so this will be a premium bass. I'm looking forward to this bass. I think it might be like pure stupid good. Well, it's going to be pure stupid good. So ignore the fact that the headstock's a little bit on the matte side, because this is the headstock will have to be repainted with the rest of the guitar depending on what it ends up looking like. It might end up looking better. We just don't know. I have to say, of all the JPXB designs so far, it's not one that I've gone, oh, you can't get rid of that. That's pure amazing. I mean, it's great, but it's, I suppose you can still see it sitting there in the background. I don't think it's one of the ones that is just pure, oh, you can't paint over that, you know. And I suppose the problem with that is that, like, because this is a really good bass, you can't have this as a wall hanger, you know. That doesn't sit right. I don't mean, you know, some of the other ones, if you know, the sort of price they're coming in at, it's like, yes, it's basically it's a painting in it, so you just hang it on the wall. But they're all playable and they're all decent. But if one of them did turn out to be an absolute super masterpiece, which some of them are, you could just not play it, and then there would be no problem if there was an issue with the paint. Jen's built some varnish on there. That'll come off though. Right, and I'll put in these wee screws. So the plan is here, I'm going to build this up and then take it over to Jen's, and we'll have a bit of a jam on it. We'll do a video on it, and then a bit of a photo shoot for the long lost JPXB, which this will eventually be. At some point in 50 years time, someone will be creating a catalogue book trying to name all the original, you know, like the same way people do with Picasso's paintings and all that. And they'll be like, oh, there's documentation for this, and they'll find eventually the researchers will come up to this video and go, oh, there it is there, that's where the lost JPXB went. It is actually It is out there. It's just it had to get repainted because there was a mistake in the paint. There's a couple earlier on ones that are like this as well. Other painting errors for experimenting with different types of paint to find out which one sticks best. It's not. I mean, painting a guitar is not that easy. It's not actually that much fun either. I mean, I can totally see the fun and see putting the pattern on. Well, the arty bit of it, but the rest of it where you've got to sand it down and you've got to. That's a bit of a chore. That's a wee bit of the thing I think about building guitars as well. I love the idea of cutting the shape of the body out. I can't be bothered sitting there, putting frets in and doing all this. I mean, it's nice. Look, it's even got an authentic serial number. JPXB 01. Yeah, see, he was not as adventurous as me. He only put 2 digits in that serial number. The ones when I put them in the guitars, I made them all. I put 3 digits, so it's 001 on my strap. In fact, I might need to actually. I'm not even sure I've actually numbered it yet. I suppose the thing about numbering it, it's like I'm not really that bothered about numbering it because the authentic ones are numbered by me anyway, so I can put a number on it myself whenever I like. I prefer my green screwdriver. That one seems a little bit cheap. Find my green screwdriver. My green screwdriver. I can't even remember what I was putting in it. Was this? Just obviously this is the first time any of these screws have been in, so there we go. We have a headstock, we have the hip shop tuners. Very nice, very nice. Onto the body then, and then I suppose just assembling it. I've got to assemble it. I don't really have a particular set order for this. I'm not going to bother putting the neck on yet because if you look where I'm sitting, it's like the thing about a bass when you put the neck on. It's like there's not enough wall over here to keep hitting the neck off things, or I don't keep hitting it, but I have to watch what I'm doing. There is no cavity. I'll just retape it. Copper shielded. Never really been one for doing a lot of copper shielding, but I'm much rather it was there than it wasn't there. I think it's one of those things that you get specific guitars and specific pickups which kind of need it, and other ones and other situations which don't. I suppose if I was gigging, I would maybe be a bit more and having issues. And in it, this has also got a. I'll pick it off just now. I'll retape over it. I don't know. It's a sort of comedy thing, like a sustain block. I don't know if you remember the old Yamaha SGs. No, not Yamaha SGs. What's the one? The Ibanez Artists had like a big brass block behind the bridge for sustain. Well, this one has here. The guitar had it as well. Which, I mean, it can't do any harm. Whether it does any good, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter if this is not particularly neat round the edges because it's in below the bridge. There we go, see? So we've got like a brass block, which is quite annoying now when you look at it because obviously this is not in line with the art that's on the front. There you go. Right. So, I guess putting the bridge on is probably a good idea because it has to be done at some point. I'd put the pickups in first. So the bridge goes on like so, with its sustain block in below it. Yeah. So I do need to run an earth wire. That seems a bit suspiciously kind of long enough and good enough. It was just like, where did you find that bit of wire? It was just lying on the floor. Yes, I think that'll do it. This is still me using that wire I get donated. Thanks very much. 1948 Chaos has sent me it. Oh, so it's, I suppose we're suggesting there that you want to earth that sustain block, so it's not only a sustain block, it's also super earth. I'm being a bit sarcastic, but not really. Right, I did find the bridge bolt. The bridge screws were not in the normal back there. That's in there, isn't it? No, not those ones. Not in that one. One, two, three. They look very much like the right ones. Ah. Okay, makes sense. I wondered why one of the saddles wasn't attached. This saddle wasn't on. It's because you're talking about the great design things you get. This bridge may be great, but you can't. You have to take the saddles off, or you have to take. Oh yeah, see, I've got to take that saddle off to get that screw in. I thought I'd get away with that one, but no, get away with this one. But you have to take the saddle completely off to get at these screws. But I suppose you could argue that, yeah, this is only for when you're constructing the base. You know, it's like when you're building it, you should never really need to get at these screws unless you're taking the base to bits. But I work on a lot of old guitars, and I would rather I take things to bits. That's what someone commented on my video earlier when I was doing the one where I was shouting at the Chipson. That pure, and the people who said who deal in Chipsons don't expect you to take them to bits. It's like, you mean a guitar you don't take to bits? I don't think I've got a guitar that I've not had in bits, even if it was not necessarily to fix, just to see what it was made of. But what kind of pickups are these? Well, next time I change strings, they're coming out. Just have a wee look, and then I'll put them back in again, just slightly better than they would in the factory anyway. Which is kind of what happens with a lot of the, like, to basically a lot of these the Buckfast guitars and the JPXB ones. It's basically got a sort of hand built element to it now, because somebody, i.e. me, has gone in and actually put everything back in perfectly, rather than someone who's trying to get through 50 in an hour or something like that. They'll actually sit there and go, oh, that screw doesn't quite fit, we'll make sure it fits, so that's maybe a wee bit off, we'll just spend a couple of minutes just sorting out that slightly dodgy fret, or stuff like that. So you're kind of getting a hand-built guitar. More hand-built than most modern guitars anyway. I don't think most guitars ever see a person. Like a fair whacker guitar. I mean, obviously you're talking about, got the Fender custom shop or something like that, yeah. Somebody's been at that, but if you're getting one from one of these factories in the Far East, I'm not sure how hands-on any of it is. Does it just come out of the CNC machines at the end of the assembly line? Somebody gives it a couple of strums, tunes it, and goes, yep, next. That screw seems very tight in that bridge. I've not. It can't be other screws. It must be those ones, because there's three of them and they're black. I can't think of what else you would need 3 screws that are black on this guitar. Not the easiest saddles to put in either, because it kind of wants to sit down low. Put it in. Never actually seen this exact bridge before. I've seen lots of bridges similar to it. Bridges are not something I ever really change in a bass. I don't think there's really anything wrong with the original P-base bridge, to be honest. I mean, I suppose it's nicer having the bigger ones just for the sake of it, but I don't think they necessarily need them. Put these into approximately what I think is going to be the right shape. And hopefully get this up and playing by this afternoon. Bridge on, earth wire, not coming out, it's in, it's well long enough. So that's what you find in earth wire, you just look on the floor and there's just a wire line there, that'll do it. Right, so we have a P-base pickup. That sponge looks like it's... Why is it right? So I'd imagine that sponge is to go below that, and I would imagine there should be 2 of them, but I only see 1. Right, I might need to use something else. Unless it's just fallen out somewhere. No, I think it's just... I didn't see it, Captain. Because these have poles in the back, so it needs something to, you know, you can't just screw it straight down. There's no screws come with it, I don't think. Yeah. Be tempted to cut that down and put that in there so the 2 P-base ones have it. And it's just standard screws. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'll do. And I will make one. I've got other bits of foam. I mean, these are obviously the super deluxe bits of foam because these have got like a peel off bit of sellotape in the back. You don't really need the peel off bit of sellotape in the back. I'll obviously find that other piece almost immediately as soon as I can't go to have it. Pick out more earth. There you go. And I haven't even looked at the 2 volumes of tone. Okay, so it'll be getting 2 volumes in a tone wired like a jazz bass, I think. Well, I don't think, I know. No, I just stick that in. I'm actually not even going to, I'm going to be really cheap here and not even bother putting on the double-sided tape because these are coming back off again. So I could use them again next time. And put the white as the out. It doesn't really matter which way these go. But to me, the Seymour Duncan should be on the bottom right, shouldn't it? I shall find the hole. It is there. There might be paint in this hole. Nope. A wee bit of a change from that gypsum. Because this has actually got a hole big enough to take the wires that are meant to go into it. And yes, I know there's ways of using drawstrings and all these things, but what I really want is a kebab skewer, just to poke that hole a little bit. I think it's just a little bit. I think there'd be a bit of tape in it or something like that, just to catch it a little bit. Is it the head? Is it the tip of this? I don't think these pickups never been used either. Brand spanking. Why come the white wire goes through so easily and the black one won't? Or just the hole is plenty big enough for one wire and big enough for 2, but not super big enough for 2. No, the guy was saying that when you put up for sale, remember take some good pictures of the inside. People like to see neat wiring and all that. But it's like, yeah, I will do that, but I'll not be snipping anything to length this time. This is just it's coming back to bits again. You shouldn't. I just feel I shouldn't have to try and put a draw wire in and all this stuff to do this kind of thing. It's just all I'm doing is pushing 2 wires through a hole. I should just push them through and it should just be fine. Damn wires. I'm not going through either. How far through am I? Must be nearly there. Make sure I'm using the right hole. If I run one so it's through, and then put the second one and then pull the first one out while pushing it, I can use that's exactly the way to do it. So I'm kind of feeding the black one through while pulling the white one through. Come on, not quite through yet. Yeah. Oh, I think I feel it. Right. So they're both in. So bits of foam. Necessary parts. Sometimes these are just mounted in springs. You can put a spring between the screw and the body if you want. This way, I would prefer this way for the choice. So. You don't want that to go. You can avoid it. Which one? Go around there. But I am bringing you the bits nobody else shows you. Because it's really boring. No. Somewhat like that. I do like those pickups with the big pulls. I think they look cool. They look totally cool. Well, these are quite robust screws. Well, this job, normally they're much... Well, normally I buy them from China, let's be honest, so normally they're really cheap. Oh, look, there's even a guide hole for it. See, this is what people think building a kit's like. It's not. No. What, you think that... Look at that. The screw's even in the right place. I didn't have to pilot my own screw hole. Also working with this as well, it's like the difference between doing this and even just reassembling like one of any of the other JPXs, because they're 30 years old. So all the screws are just a little bit worn, and it's like they always work, but it's just that whole thing about just how well everything works together. Right. Oh, I need to make up a spongy thing. I could use this piece here. Perfect. And never throw away the bits that you get. This is like I think it's actually from a Seymour Duncan packet as well. The rubber thing that kind of holds the pickup in the box, that's a really good rubber for doing this exact thing. So you need to be any different size from that. Right. So again, poking this through into the rear cavity. Not wanting to say anything too soon, but that one seemed to go in okay. Yeah, and I will obviously be trimming this wire down a little bit, but not on this particular bit. Not that one. Now I forgot to put the bit of sponge in. Hopefully that bit of sponges will compress enough. Yes, it will. In case the pickup ends up too high. I wonder if that's actually why they're in the Seymour Duncan boxes, because you do often surface mount them. That would just be the perfect thing to put behind it, so maybe they've thought of that. And I suppose I just wire this up. I put the strap buttons on first. While we're here, I suppose. Just ticking things off the box. That's just a piece of shite. And I'll put it there so it's not. So I'm definitely sure if I had the strap buttons in there. Just a wee bit different. People go like different. Oh, look at the positioning of this is way over here. I mean, I've gone through this when I was first started looking up. You know, oh, look at all this cheap stuff on eBay where you can buy like things like interesting strap buttons. You really don't get them. I mean, these are about as interesting as I've seen. There it is there, right. And it's like, for these sort of things, I mean, I don't know. Okay, they probably only cost 50p to buy a normal one, but I mean, it's only going to cost you a couple of quid for something like this. It can't cost that much. It's just a wee, slightly different shape thing. I mean, that's like the Ibanez Sure Grip, or whatever they're called, which are on my RG530, but they're not on the Roadster. Are kind of similar. They're a wee bit more like sort of triangular, so they're kind of that shape, but they're basically just that. I like them, but I'm not willing to buy them because I've seen folks that I don't know if they sold them. I saw someone try to sell them for 60 quid for strap buttons. Like, aye, right. I think with those things is it's like I can sort of see someone spending that if they've got, like Yoakum's got his A500 started with a tone, his Steve Lukather model Ibanez RS, which came with those on it, and if it didn't have it, then if you're talking about a guitar like that, then yeah, you're going to pay the money to get the correct he's written B500, okay. Yep, I've completely forgotten what I was in the middle of saying. I wasn't. Two A's and a B. Okay. Well, the B will be going on the P bass volume and the two A's will be going on the thingy. I think that's a mistake. It's meant to be an A and two B's because there's no way that it's meant to have a volume and two tones. It's meant to be two volumes and a tone. Although maybe if you put it, if you have the argument about the A's, the audio taper, which might be true, but not the right way around. So one of these will be a tone. So I've got to decide which tone cap to use. I'll probably try both of them. Try one of them first and then try the other one later. So I don't need that just now. So put that. I'll put it so you can see it. Why not? Turn on the soldering iron. I got a new soldering iron at work. When I say work, at Jen's. So you got like a fancy solder station thing with a thing to hold it and all that. Which is nice, it means I don't have to take mine over anymore. Probably quite good for actually when I'm tinning them, actually doing it that way. So one of these is to be a tone, one of them is to be a volume. I'm just going to tin them up. And that's CTS Stumac. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to put a wee bit there because this is a volume. So I'm just going to file there to get this solder to stick. And I'm going to bend that lug over. These are quite good knobs actually, because it holds the pot vertical, makes it easier to solder. Just easier to reach. Where is my... Yeah. My pliers, one of the best buys ever, those pliers. Remember, they were in a bargain bin in B&Q for 50p. And they're just dead useful. Not that I really needed bent nose pliers. I just saw them, 50p, I'll have them. And maybe they're not that useful, I've still got them, because obviously all the best ones you lose. All the best tools get pinched. The solder should stick to that because I've just filed it. Obviously I can do this when it's in the guitar, but it's easier just to do it when you've got space. Looks like quite a big cavity in there anyway. But I'd rather just do it from the outside, it's just easier. Do some preparatory work. Tin in the contacts. A wee bit more on there. That'll be my earthing point for the pickup as well. So yeah, I'll try not put solder on the bit that tells you what kind of pot it is for somebody in 20 years' time who tries to work out what kind of pot it is and can't because somebody it's soldered all over the top of what it says. Yeah. So these are Stumac ones, and one of these is going to be a volume as well. So I'm going to do the same thing with this. This will be the volume for the jazz bass pickup. I wonder if it was intended for the B to be the tone control. John Carter always argues with me. He's like, no, you want A's for tone. It's like, I just don't think you do. I've used them. I like a B volume pot. That seems to work quite nicely. So that's the wee pickup, right? And then this one's going to get a cap. Well, one would think that bigger is better, is it not? Or is it, it's going to be a 0.22 and a 0.47, isn't it? 473, 223. So it's a 0.22 and a 0.47. 47's a normal one. I guess you could specify that if you're buying it. I'm going to try and fit this to this without actually cutting very much of it off, am I? Not really. So just run it through. Ugh. All I've got to do with this is basically tap. It's got to go through there and then go onto the top of the pot. So, like that. Is that quite neat looking? Something like that. It's only for looks anyway, it doesn't really matter. Electrically, it's going to be fine. Yeah, I quite like that. That's fine. So, I'll turn that wee bit there. What to stick to. Just give it a wee bit of a file just to scrape off the stuff that the solder doesn't want to stick to. So I'm a little bit reluctant. That black ink's making it look like there's something wrong with the solder. It's just ink that's in it now. From the Sharpie. I was going to go for something like that. I think that does look quite good. That's how you clean a solder iron like a man. None of this using a wet sponge crap. I get taught by somebody. What was his name? Almost had it there. Was it Ted? Used to work in the practice pad, do the amps. And I remember going in with my, it was an amp, it was a bass amp. I'm going to try and could you solder in this it was a fuse holder. I bought the amp cheap because it didn't have a fuse holder in the back. It just needed, you know, I could see basically 2 wires, put in a new fuse holder and then put it back, and I had the fuse holder. And the guy's like that, Pierre, no, I will not wire that for you. But if you buy me a coffee, I will show you how to do it right now. So I bought my coffee, and he basically went, right, do this, solder that, punch that, write the soldering iron in your trousers. Nope, you've got to make sure you put solder onto the wires first. And then 10 minutes later I'd done it, and he went, there you go, and then he had his coffee, and then I've never had to learn anything about soldering ever again since then. So cheers, Ted. I say Ted. Ted, maybe his name. But that's the way to teach soldering. You know, none of this looking up videos or anything like that. Just go talk to someone who can solder and ask them, and they'll just do it. I don't want to stick to this. That's on. And that's on. Am I going to make any pretense to try to use this again for something else? I'll snip it off later. Yeah, so just make it a little bit nicer looking. So about that, and then I'll just do these two. I've done the two there. Just do. Don't need to solder the outside. That black ink really is keeps floating on the surface of the solder, looking strange. Alright, so I suppose next is, where's the output jack? I suppose I should put wires on the output jack, shouldn't I may even use the correct colour wires just to make it all colour coordinated. I normally like to use all the wrong colours of wire. That looks like a white wire just sitting there. That looks a bit perfect. Yep. And I've got a spool of black wire, which is dead handy. Cheers for that. That's give me. This is an invaluable resource, having just as much wire as you want. Him again. And you can actually look at this when you're putting the wires on to see which one's which after you've tinned the two terminals, because you still need to do this. Jack sockets is one of the most common things that people make a mess of. Remember the ones you get into and people put sellotape and stuff in them, and you're just like, oh. Mind you, it would be easier if someone just sold you bits of wire. Like, see if you could just buy wire suitable for guitars, like that stuff. I would totally buy things. There's so many different options. I don't even know what 3304, whatever that means. I don't even know what the numbers on it means. 32 AWG is a common one, I think. And you'll notice my circuit diagrams from doing this. It's like when you learn music from a book, you need the book. When you learn how to do this stuff on your own, you don't need those circuit diagrams. Until it doesn't work, and then I'll look up a circuit diagram. I looked up the circuit diagram for that Westtone Spectrum Series 2 bass, thinking there's no way I'm going to find a diagram for such an obscure bass, and on the Westtone site they had about 3 circuit diagrams, and that was one of them. I was like, alright, not that I really needed it. I was really just wanting to know what it was meant to do. It's like, you know, there's switches on it, but because it's active, you know, it's on a PCB. I'm sitting there going, I wonder what is it? What's the switch meant to do, and what's the right? So you know that that's the tip, because if you when you stick your guitar lead in, I don't see the end of a guitar lead. That's for the bit that clips in. So that's the tip. So that's the hot. So that the white goes on there. I didn't even look to see how close that this was going to end up to the. And then if that's the white, then this is the black. I'll just double check again. Yep. So this one here, you can see the black one. They're connected. And the black one goes it's onto the shield. You actually physically see the tab, and the white one goes on there, goes in below, and comes up at this one. Yep. So time to fit this jack socket, and then we'll go for putting the knobs in, putting the pots in. Doesn't look particularly difficult to put this in, I'll be honest. These are things I've never got. I wish someone would just donate me a box of 10 or 20 of those things. A number of times I've ended up sitting there trying to make them and do all sorts of stupid stuff, because they always break and they're always missing. It's really annoying. You know, if I'm churning out a bucky caster again for, you know, like £100, it's like, you know, I'll just spend another £5 and get these bits. Yeah, but that's just put the price of the guitar up for a £5. It's a £5 less profit, unless I can make something or find something. And obviously they shouldn't cost a £5. It's only because you're buying one it costs a £5, so you should be able to buy them for 50p each if you buy 10. I think this guitar might actually be pine. I don't remember. Was it specs to come later? This is like, because this is a premium instrument, it's going to have the spec sheet. You know, I don't really. Spec sheets are a little bit Harley Benton to me, but that's broken. It doesn't really tell you how good a guitar is, but I suppose you should. People like to know what they've got. It's Seymour Dunky's quarter pounders. The bridge will be a. Doesn't say on it, but I don't know, a Shaw or something probably. I don't know. Again, it comes down to the point of what's really, you know, like, what's really the point in buying really, really expensive tuners? I mean, it's like Wilkinson ones you get. The Wilkinson Grover copies are pure amazing. It's like, I don't really envisage ever needing tuners better than that. Or what? Unless it's ones that look good. I do think they look pretty cool. They really do. But you know, I don't generally tend to upgrade tuners unless there's something wrong with them. It doesn't happen that most of our guitars are old Japanese ones though, so that felt like a push-pull pop, but it can't be because I can see it. Grub screw on it. Fancy looking knobs as well. You know, that metal. So I'm in a quandary just now what I do with the corker knobs. So I've got a set of pure amazing Yamaha ones, which are just a little bit different than what's on it's what's on anything else, because it's Yamaha and they tend to make their own parts. Oh, I've got to get this to the right height. Yeah, a wee bit of faffing about to be done. This is where it actually works out really well for, see, when you've got the knobs that I've got the grub screw on them. That means you don't have to push it on to see if you've got the right height, because obviously what you do is you adjust this up so that when you poke it through, the knob's not sitting, you know, way off the top of the guitar. So I'm going to guess and then put it on and then see what happens, and then just trial and error. But because I don't have to actually physically push the knobs on, sometimes you know you push them on and you got to try and pull them off. And you don't think it's going to make it. See, it definitely needs to come up more than that because it's not even poking through. It probably just needs the whole pot. I probably didn't need to do anything with that at all. That's because it's been thought about. Somebody's actually made this to be right. And then if you put the knob on the top, it's just going to sit perfectly into it. Perfect. Yep. You get to the point, it's like when you're talking about this handmade stuff, where is it that this was routed to take that size of pot because that was the size of pot he was going to put in it, not this. Oh, or make it so it takes everything else. No, it's just to make it fit the exact thing that's going in it. Saves time later on when you're trying to faff a bit with it. That's second volume. Bet look forward to seeing this. Bet you it's good. I've been playing that. I did another bass video yesterday of a JPXB jazz bass. With that disco beat in it. It's just like, I would totally have bought a pedal that just did that disco beat. Totally don't need it to sound like drums. It just needs boof, boof, 4 on the floor, and then I can just do anything over the top of it. It's really annoying. A wee Moore drummer pedal doesn't have that. Such a basic thing, you know. It's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure even though, you know, Casio, the wee cheap Casio tone keyboards did it, you know, just very pure beyond simple beat. Just basically a metronome. I think I lended my pal the Roadstar. He was thinking of buying one. It was a green one, a Comet. And it kind of went for 400 odd quid, which is a bit much. I was like, especially when it's a wee bit of it. I was thinking, you know, it's like lucky to have the choice of trying some of these things. I've got one sitting there. If I just lend it to him for have this for a week, then he can see whether he actually wants to invest in a good one. You know, you don't often get that opportunity. And it was like, oh, I'm thinking of buying guitar A, and it's like, pure, I've got one. Borrow it for a week, see if you like it. Because it doesn't. There's a point where it doesn't really matter how good a guitar is to a certain degree. Sometimes it's just not the one for you. You know, it's like sometimes guitars are, oh, it's excellent, and it's not me. And it's not you, whoever you happen to be. Get my special tool out. Actually a really handy thing, this. I'd probably rather use the socket set, but I'll demonstrate this just now. I don't want to do it too much because this is all coming off again. It's typical that this would be a nerve-wracking experience had this been not one with a knackered paint job on it. I don't know how knackered it is. I wonder if it was just a bad bit. Yeah, it does kind of chip off a bit. Right. So, as I said, I'm not going to bother cutting any of these wires just now. I will cut them properly when it goes in. When it goes in for final wiring. I'm just going to run. I just didn't. Tit. A wire's gone in below this before I tightened it up, so I've squished a wire. Right. I can just start battering into this then. I could put the output jack on first. Put the output jack on first. That way, I don't end up putting the guitar together and going, "Ah, come, it's not working because I forgot to put the output jack on." Okay. So, earth to the back of one of the pots. Doesn't matter which one. Tempted to put it where that big blob there. Actually, just put it straight onto the tone controller. I think. One earth wire on. I'll take the earth wire from, it's coming from the bridge, not the bridge pickup, the one that I just put in myself. Just joining it, and then I'll lose the solder. There it is. So that's earth's out the way. This is the thing for the output jack. So the output jack is going to come from. I'll put it on last. I'll do it logically. So what I'm really going to do is that is the bridge pickup. So all of these wires can just. Well, there's only 2 wires there. Then I'll put those pliers on top of them, that will keep them out of the way. These 2 are the output. So I do need to, oh, watch this, look. See the, can you see that? That earth, the tail of that, forget that. You can't do that because that would just earth it. I was thinking it was a bit of metal there I could use rather than having to put another wire on, but no. I just seem a bit excessive using. I have trim them later, right? So I'm just gonna. I might check it with the meter anyway. It's like I kind of don't want to use the copper shielding as the earth. I don't think I need to put any extra earth wires on. I think that these will all be perfectly earth. But that's you kind of using the copper shielding, and it's like, do I want to do that? Probably. Just basically all I'm doing is running that to the back of the pot, and then because it's a jazz bass wiring that's going in this, I would normally go on the inside and come out the outside, but this way I'm going to go to the middle lug, and then the output will be going to the middle lug, or to yeah, I'll explain it when I get there. So the pickup goes to the middle lug, like so. So that's that P bass. That's the P bass pickup neck wired in. Right, I'm gonna get another bit of wire off that drum. Whatever the drum. Yeah. Oh, I'll use a white wire, okay, just to make it look right, won't I? Right. So if I run the output of this pot, to the output of the other one, again, I will do this meter later. Once we're out of the prototyping phase. And I need to do the end of the wire coming out of the. How long have we been doing this for? An hour. There you go. So I mean, just in case you're wondering, I'm doing this. I don't appear to be going particularly fast, but if you've never done this before, you'll not be able to do it as fast as this. I'm also just taking my time and trying to do a neat job, or just try not to make any mistakes, and also thinking about it because you lot are watching, both of you. So what I really want to do is I want to put both of these to the output lug of this middle pot. And then listen to my stomach rumble. Put that in there. Like that. And then put the output of... So that now means that if you turn off either of the pickups, the other one still works. It's not particularly neat. I can do that better. I need to blow my nose. There's only 2 more wires and then this base is ready. Well. So where's my multimeter? Just out of interest, I don't think I'll bother putting them in if they're... That shielding should be giving me 0 resistance between the backs of the pots. Near enough. So there's the earth from the bridge. I think that's good enough. I think in the final one I'll probably put an extra earth wire on just anyway, but they don't need it. But because it's the norm for it to be there. People still put earth wires on Telecasters in there. All the pots in a Tele are all stuck to a metal plate. So you really only need, not shielding foil, metal plate. That was the first guitar I ever saw with that was my Hondo Telecaster. And it was like, you went into it and it was just like, oh my god, this is so amazing. It's like, there's only half the amount of wires there normally are. Oops, I didn't do that. Oh! Sorry, you can't see that. Getting repainted. Spilt a wee bit of solder on top of the guitar. Right. Oh, and I guess there should be a tone control as well, shouldn't there? Well, I should put a tone control on it. That's just, again, I'm just going to run it straight off the common output, just off that one that's already got 2 tabs on it. And the back of it's already earthed, so all I'm doing is running the signal to ground. I was watching Foxy's guitar channel the other day, and he got himself a micrometer. Was it a micrometer for measuring the thickness of neck profiles and stuff like that, like the way Trogley does. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we get one. And honestly, I couldn't watch it for 2 minutes. I just didn't look happy. Yeah, this is 42mm. This is 43 board. So I'm not going to bother doing that. Right, so that should be the whole guitar, the whole bass up and running electrically. Obviously, bit of a spaghetti mess just now, but in case something gets changed, I don't want to adjust it yet. Look at that, it's even tied in. Now where? Yeah. That spilt solder came off without leaving a mark at all. I'm really enjoying building this actually. It's such a difference when you something you actually want to play at the end as well. That's why I like building odd guitars. It's like half the fun in it. It's like, oh, what's it going to be like? I want to play it. Whereas, like, see, if I was just churning out endless Stratocasters, it'd be like, really, okay, I'll do it. But I mean, it's not it doesn't excite me. This is the same as the last guitar I wired. It's like, the last one I worked on. Whereas if you're doing different ones, even when I'm doing your customers' guitars, it's like, oh, that's be quite interesting to see what it sounds like with hot rails in it or blah blah blah. It's a different type of guitar. Yeah, very neat. Right. And I don't know. I noticed that in the neck pocket it says after clear coat. It's got to be remove this bit of tape after clear coat. I can actually feel it. Nah, I'm gonna have to take this off, even though it has been clear coated and it's getting repainted. There's the bit there that's coming off. You know, it's not super, but if you absolutely pick at it. Oh, we've got another serial number as well. The same serial number. So the neck and bridge are matched. And I was told to put some put a wee bit of wax on it. I don't have any wax. Now it fits absolutely perfectly. I didn't have to put any pressure on that at all. Oh. It fitted so perfectly that I've now got to try and open this poly bag with one hand, well, to get the neck plate and the bolts out. Because I now don't want to take it out in case it chips or something. Three, four. The number of times I tell people not to use a DeWalt to put in these bolts. It's actually got metal sockets in this as well. Totally look for the DeWalt there. I don't think I'll bother. I think once this is together, it's the end of this part of the video, and then I will put strings on it, tune it up, because that's not going to be a particularly super interesting bit. And I'm going to have a BLT sandwich that I bought yesterday for my lunch. Screws are going in very easily. Forward to, I wonder what my guitar's going to look like. Apparently they're going to be a bit bigger. The prototype was basically this shape, but a good bit smaller. Oh, still, one more thing before I go to the next. Before I put strings on it, I'll put the knobs back on it. Oh, how do I do that? Do I make it there for the? Doesn't matter, is it? Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Two. That's where you want to. You see, you can actually get the Allen key all the way around without having to do it twice. That's handy. I will not be using that jazz bass pickup very much. If anything, I've gone more bassy. I'm so much on the that tone control. I mean, I'm running the bass with the tone control practically turned off these days. I just like non-bassy sound. Yeah. So there we go. There is the first time this has ever been assembled. It's quite big. This is quite it's comfy though. Interesting to see what it's like with the strings and the likes on it. Yes, very interesting. Rock on. See you next video. This will not be one of my nighttime videos. This will be I might put it out in the middle of the night. This is for can't get to sleep.